Farcaster. We are here. It is Wednesday, November 15th. Welcome to GM Farcaster. 21 minutes of Farcaster news to start your day. Just enough time to drink your coffee and find out all the fun things that are happening on the Farcaster protocol, and particularly Warpcast. So, Adrian, how are you this morning? We're here with Adrian. It's Adrian and Downish Prof. I'm realizing that since we now have, have you been on the Unlonely app today? Like
I'm on
something
un
happens.
I'm on
They pushed out an
Unlonely as we
update.
speak.
I'm like, wait, what is this? What is happening? So that's exciting. I completely lost my train of thought when I was going to look at the chat, and I'm like, ooh,
Okay, a
we've got a little upgrade.
nice little UI refresh
Oh,
on
little
Unlonely.
refresh. Yeah, so that's nice. So little extra update today about Unlovely. So I was before that I was saying we now are streaming this as a podcast on all the places you get your podcasts, like Apple and Spotify. So I'm being a little more conscious of folks who might not be watching the stream. So, but it's so great to have you here. There's a VIP room. I don't even know what that is. There's a VIP room in Unlonely, and I have no idea what that is. Well, as soon as we know, we'll figure it out because Arjan, you're definitely our VIP. Like, there's no question. You're
I
the
think
VIP.
I think it's until we start selling tokens, we
Yeah,
don't get VIP room.
we don't need a VIP
We're
room.
women of the people.
That's it. Yep.
You're all
But you're
VIPs.
all VIPs to us. We love you very much. Okay, so let's get rolling. And before we even start, I have to just point out your beautiful background. If you could just duck for a moment so everyone could see mole, boosts, and bangers. It's fantastic. It's so we got a little bangers and mash. It's phenomenal. So Boost, we have something new happening with Boost. So Boost the other last week, and I think he said a month ago or something, but it was really like last week. They tested out some boosts and trying to see different ways to like get things more attention. And so now, new on Warpcast boosts are a way for channel leads to increase visibility for a cast in a channel. One cast per channel can be boosted at a time. Channel leads can boost 1x every 24 hours. And then you did have an explainer doc in there. And note, this is not the same feature that appeared and disappeared a couple weeks ago. It was actually last week. We experimented with notifying everyone about a boosted cast and nixed it too much. So boosted cast just gets more prominence and distribution without being too noisy. So channel lead for Farcast Her. What do you think about this?
I think it's cool. I did
Yeah,
not love yeah, I didn't love when the boost showed up last week and we talked about it on the show. It was um
it was confusing.
Yeah,
I was like,
confusing, and I was like, "I don't need more notifications that I didn't subscribe to." So these you don't get notifications, it's just a way of amplifying certain messages. Um,
I think that's really
eh
helpful too in channels, especially if you're like, what if you're doing an announcement, or what if you have an event that's happening for folks in your channel, like you did the virtual meetup. So that would be a really good one to boost. And then you could also be boosting, just one a week that's just like this one's a banger,
Yep,
the bangers
banger
get boosted.
bangers, banger.
Bangers get boosted.
What I think is cool is the first time I saw Boost last week, my immediate thought was, and as others did, it's like, "Oh, you could monetize this, you can sell
Yeah.
this. The brands are coming, someone can pay for my attention." And I'll listen to what Dan says. He's very consistent. And I think about kind of, do you trust, how do you trust him? Do his actions follow what his words are? And the one thing he talks about is QDAO, and it's
Yep.
just quality, quality, quality. So I think what we're seeing in this little pivot is boosts as a way, and he sent a message to the channel leads about how we might want to
Oh,
use
cool.
it. It is a way to boost and amplify quality messaging to
Right.
get good stuff out. So, I chalk one
Yeah.
up for
Boost for the
that, so,
bangers,
yeah.
exactly. Boost for the bangers. So that's yeah, I love that. I love that we're focusing on boost. We're focusing on quality, and I think that's really important. And he has been very consistent with that. And we saw that even a year ago, right? When you have when we talked about that yesterday on Outcasters a year ago, him pulling back invitations because quality was suffering. So it's not to me that is really important from a founder who is not just numbers at all cost, is going to really change the outcome in the long run. So, yeah, totally agree. This is a good direction to go in. And related to that, we have more ways to use our warps coming soon. A couple NFTs. So we have mint even more NFTs with your warps. Tomorrow, November 15th, Farcaster Fnac release NFT. I don't even know what that means exactly. And then next week, a secret NFT, and the week after that, a secret NFT. Warps can only be used to mint these allow listed NFTs for now. Some NFTs can be minted with a regular wallet while be exclusive to Warp holders. So lots of little experiments happening with Warps. And there's some more information in that same thread about how Warps work. And there was another message from Varun that there are now 2 ways to consistently earn warps each week. Running hubs will earn you warps, as well as posting bangers. Hence the bangers meme today. So we have some weekly caster rewards that are being given to users who post the most interesting casts each week. And the best way to get this reward is to post content that other active users on Warpcast generally find interesting. So if they're interacting with it, then there you go. And then weekly hub runner rewards are also going to be given out. So more stuff with warps, more stuff boosting. People are keep asking about, are we, can we buy warps? Like we were talking about, can we give away warps? Like I would love to be able to give some of my warps away to people who watch the show. That would be really cool. I'd love to see, a way for warps to be integrated with Unlonely. I think that could be a fun thing. What do you think? What do you think about all this warp news?
Love it all. Got really excited for the mint announcement because that was
Yeah.
just really fun last week, and it's as a proof of concept. So to kind of see that continuing, Fennec, I believe, is the Fennec Fox,
Ooh, okay.
and will be the next iteration of the protocol. So
Got it.
we had elephant. We've gone through the different animals. So I think it's
Oh,
the fox.
okay. I didn't think about that. And of course it's a fox. It should be a fox, right? Because of all these philosophical foxes who play such a prominent role in our Farcaster ecosystem. In the chat, I did see the message from Arjan about how is the channel lead test going? And I think that's a great question to you. I want to boost posts too. I know I do too. I think it's fun. I would love to be able to boost posts. It would be cool to have that like maybe one a week to top active users, like 200 users or something. They can boost one post that's not their own or something like that would be kind of cool. So what do you think? How's the channel lead been going? How's that whole experiment been going, do you think?
It was, I want to say it was announced mid September,
I
and
think so.
we said we'll do a 6-week experiment, um, which would have put us a few weeks ago, so kind of around November 1st. It wasn't the thing, right? So it wasn't the thing that turned Farcaster into a wildly viral success where there's, massive
Right.
exponential, orders of magnitude better quality and better volume. But it didn't not work. The channels with leads had incrementally more, engagement than without. Um, so we're continuing, keep going.
Yeah, I think it's just like, yeah, Fennec Fox. Someone dropped a link to Fennec Fox. I see. It's a particular type of fox. I didn't realize that. These are, this is why we need, this is why we need to stream this live with a chat. So, so they can do those like content, content
Community
comments. Yeah,
live
community,
community
community
notes.
notes. That's what I was like. Live community notes. That's what we're here for. So that's yeah. I think that for some of the channels, I think it's been really helpful. It does seem that the channels with leads do have the best quality from what I've seen, and I do tend to see the most from those particular channels. Except for the DAO channels. The DAO channels can stand on their own. They're incredibly active regardless because that mission's already built in. So, but besides those, I feel like the ones with channel leads have been much more active, much more I don't know, I just see them a lot more in my feed. So, that I think is important in terms of like whether or not the experiment has worked. But yeah, you're right. Didn't orders of magnitude no, but it's inches, not miles. It's okay. This is, it's the tortoise and the hare kind of situation. We'll go for the quality of the tortoise.
Yeah,
Okay,
and
moving. Oops, go
Arian and
ahead.
whoever else, if you have, from your perspective, if you're seeing something different with channel leads, either share here or share in
Yeah,
Warpcast. Curious
yeah,
what
I'd love
people
to
are
know.
thinking.
I'd love to know what others are thinking about channel leads. Um, Okay, moving on. Steve had this tip, which I thought was really helpful. STV. Pro tip: if you hit the character limit of a cast, even after rewording it to the T, check your apostrophes. iOS uses smart quotations by default, giving you a Unicode apostrophe, which uses 3 characters, versus an ASCII apostrophe, which uses the expected 1 character. That was news to me. I was like, wait, what? Like,
Life hacks. These are the hot tips I need to know.
but you ever on a cast going, "Oh, I went 1 over. Okay, what do I edit out?" I'm like,
Liter literally every day.
every
I
day,
max out the
every day,
cast and
every day,
I'm
and
on record. I am not a fan of like when Twitter added the long tweets.
oh, really? Okay.
I am team constraint, and unless it's short, I don't want to read it. So it's a fun game. So
It
I
is
like
it
the
I on occasion, I have done long form on Twitter, but usually I prefer threads. It just depends on what it is, but I've had on occasion, especially around proposals and things like that, where I'm trying to, I'm like, if it gets cut into threads, it may not make sense, because sometimes you see things out of order. So that's the only time I feel like the long form can be helpful, where you don't want things sort of cut up and they don't stand on their own. But most of the time, threads are usually better and usually a little get more attention, honestly. So
or if you have something long to say, take it to paragraph.
there you go. Yeah, exactly. And that's usually what I do. Yeah, my long form is generally paragraph. I've seen a lot of love for paragraph in the past couple weeks too, so that's kind of fun. Um, Supercast is launching soon. In the meantime, feel free to share any features or experiences that you missed from Warpcast or Twitter. Supercast exists to bring you the best UX for the most chronically online people. So apparently, they're building something for us. Uh, I
Very
guess.
internet people.
I guess. I have no idea what this is exactly, but I'm here for it. Whatever it is, Supercast sounds fun. I'm not sure what we're doing, but I'm really excited to try it out. So there we go. I'm assuming it's a way to cast between all the different socials, is my guess. It has launched. I see two.
Oh,
Oh, you do see people casting from Supercast. Okay, cool. I have to try that. The chat is interesting. This new UX for Unlonely, it's interesting because when you can zoom in and it's kind of funny. Anyway, okay, let's see what else we have going on. We had seeing. Oh, I thought this was interesting. We didn't get to it yesterday. Seeing how many folks bought a 300 AirNet device just because they saw it on DWR's Farcaster makes me think we could totally organize a social shopping experience, maybe even get some juicy discounts. Shopcaster, what are we buying this month? And I thought that was interesting. So not necessarily people selling like, which eventually we will. Um, but more like how can we as a community, as a seniors, use our buying power more effectively. And I thought that's interesting. That's pretty interesting. What are your thoughts on that?
um, well, first my thought is on the Aranet. Is that what it's called? Aranet?
Yeah, I have no idea what
Do
that
you
is.
know what it
Yeah.
is?
No, I have no idea.
It's a
Mm,
carbon
I
dioxide.
do
It's an
remember
air
that post.
quality carbon
Yep.
dioxide detector. So it's like an air quality meter.
I do remember that post now that
And
you say
Dan
that. Yep,
posted
I
about
remember.
it and was like, "Oh, I've noticed when, like my brain doesn't work as well. And then I go outside, get some fresh air, and I come back and I'm better." And then I think Linda posted it. Now, how many people are buying it.
Yep.
Um, so it piqued my interest. I'm like, do I need one of those?
Do I
I
need
put
one?
it in
Do I
my
need one?
cart. I haven't hit purchase yet.
Okay, interesting.
So
So
the
that definitely, we know that social selling works. We know that, that's possible, but I like it from the perspective of, a brand that can look at Farcaster and say, these are my people. This is my target market. And there are going to be those certain things where this is going to be a great target market. How can you capture that and maybe even offer some kind of discount to this particular group of folks. And, I think there's something there if it's done in a way that's helpful rather than spammy. But I don't know how we, thread that line, but it
Yeah,
seems that way.
would be cool.
Yeah, yeah, it would be pretty interesting to see that. But I remember that now that you say it, I couldn't quite remember what, because I'm like, what's Aranet? And then I remember the post. I totally remember that. Matthew, this was really interesting the other day. Hey, friends, trying a new social experiment, and I'd love your help. Just enter your username here and then reply with a screenshot and let me know how well you know the people on your list. Never talked to or seen them, close friends, trying to crowdsource some research so all data helps. So this was a Find My Casters, and you put it in, you put your username in, and it gives you your top 15 that you match with and have the most NFTs in common with. So I'm pulling up mine on the screen, and it was really accurate. And but what was really, really funny was if you look through all these lists that were posted, Jack J4CK Icebreaker is on almost every list. So he
Because
must he must mint
super
every NFT known to man.
he's a super mega collector.
Mhm.
What would be interesting too is if I wish I could like also put in a date and an
Yeah,
as of time. Um,
that would be interesting. That would be interesting because I really liked that with the crypto kitties when they built that little on Farcaster. You could see everyone who had crypto kitties before 2019, before January 1st, 2019, and I thought that was really interesting. I was like, oh, I'd love to see it. Let's go back to 2018, and I want to see like who was there in 2017, and so it's interesting
this
to
is
have those
really
kind of
cool.
things.
I missed the announcement, so I didn't even see this cast until just now that you pulled it up. And
Yeah, it was so
people have
cool.
been talking about this forever of like, okay, we remember we had the NFT feed early
Yeah,
on. You could
love the
see
NFT
people's
feed. Yeah,
and I think I must have seen a dozen people ask for this. I want to know who has the same NFTs as me. So
yeah,
great job,
yeah.
Matthew. This
Yeah,
is
it's
awesome.
really cute. It's really cool. And I've seen something similar done, and I can't remember who did it, but it also looked at POAPs you had in common. And it's a similar list. Like Ben Bodie, who's at the top of my list on here, is at the top of that list for me also. And like, so and he's very nounish and we're really close friends. So it makes a lot of sense. So it was interesting to go, yeah, my top 5, like, were one like, my top 4 especially were 100%, like, people I interact with every day, and then Jacob was my 5th from Zora. I mint everything on Zora, so that made a lot of sense. And he's also one of the founders of Nouns Builder. So it all, like, yeah, it made a lot of sense who was on there, but I really loved that Jack was on every single list. I thought that was like, Jack, you really are the person to break the ice because you know everybody. You just don't even realize it. Like, something in common with everyone.
Jack's incredible.
Right?
You can spot him in a crowd.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, it has launched. I'm just looking through our chat. Oh, there are lists on Supercast. Okay, interesting. I'll have to go check out Supercast. Um, and welcome to everybody who's in the chat. Even if you're a non, we love seeing you there. Tell us who you are and we'll give you a shout out. Okay, we Oop, I'm going to skip ahead. I was going to talk about our launch of podcast. We already did that. This was really interesting from Onion. He wrote a little something, and he's minting these essays now too. And this one was about um, social network, how Farcaster is different and is more of an Ethereum native social graph rather than a social media platform. And what it brought what kind of jumped out in my head, and he really got into how when he signed up with Paragraph with his Ethereum wallet, it already knew who its Ethereum friends were, who its Farcaster friends with, because it pulls in the Farcaster follows. So then it gets you better connected with what those folks are writing. Automatically, it's giving you that recommendation. So I thought it reminded me of when I interviewed Dan for Zero Pod with Toady, and we talked about how Farcaster really has brought us back to a social network as opposed to social media. And everything else has really shifted more to that media. right? Where it's more broadcast, it's more content um, consumption rather than connection. And I think that to me is where there's a big difference there. What were your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I read the essay just this morning, and excellent, excellent. I just recasted it, so we should really check it out. I just
Shout
even
out
at the
Onion.
end, yeah, the onions essay. And even at the end, it was like you have this aha. It's like, okay, there he's having an aha moment of like, I still don't know exactly how it plays out, but there's something there. And there is
There's
something, I
something there.
love it, that Ethereum is inherently social.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And therefore, if you have an Ethereum native social graph, how what are the different applications? So the idea of like, we've been promised composability, we've been promised the value of when you have open graphs, what can you build on top of it? So I just thought he just it's a really good, short but
Yep.
excellent
Really
essay, and
good.
it just made me like, and again, it's hard for me to articulate every day exactly why I'm here,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it's this weird experiment that I believe in, and it's just exciting.
And
I
this is
mean,
why we're
it's
doing
hard
what we're
to.
doing. Like
Mhm.
we both believe that this is the direction and it's a more positive way forward. And here we are, right? So here we are. And here's our 21 minutes of updates from said social network and social graph. I love Onion's writing. He does some every once in a while he'll write these essays or just some really cool threads, and so I appreciated that whole thought process. So shout out Onion at 6 on Farcaster. And with that, I am going to just show once again we did launch officially our podcast. And it was kind of funny because we've been doing this for a bit now. And the way we've been doing it is streaming it live on Unlonely and then posting it on Zora as an NFT, which we'll still be doing. But then we've also, you went ahead and put it out there on all the podcast feeds. And we got a little different response. It's kind of interesting. So talk about that real quick, and then we'll wrap up.
Um,
I thought that
Yeah, I
was
just found it
interesting.
funny. So I announced yesterday, and everyone was here live. We announced it Monday live that we're now, and just I got a lot of like, oh, congratulations. Oh, now I'm subscribed. So using the existing Spotify, Apple distribution channels, we'll be able to reach people we wouldn't have normally reached. And I think some people just almost as if it's, oh, now now we're
Now
official.
it's real.
So yeah.
Now it's real. Now it's a real podcast, and we're going to try to make sure we're keeping in mind that a lot of people might just be listening and not watching. So if we mention something and you're like, I don't know what they're talking about, go back and check the show notes for the links to the casts that we're talking about, so you can get the visuals of what it is we are discussing. And especially for things like essays that we talk about, we'll share those links so you can go back and read it yourself and tell us what you think. And that is it. We are out of time, and we will be back Friday with more Farcaster news to start your day. Anything else going on today? I don't know
Not
what else to say.
much.
Oh,
Us.
I will say the Nouns movie is doing part two. The part two drop today, the premiere. If you are in the Nouns ecosystem, go to Nouns Esports Discord and watch the premiere. So that'll be fun. And
Great.
that's it. Have a great day, and I'm excited to mint with Warps later today. It looks like we've got the new one coming, so this is exciting. So look for that, and we will see you on Friday. Goodbye, everybody. Get those bangers out there.